Mompreneurs. It's your girl Tammy Capri, and this is the midweek check-in in the Bold Like Esther challenge that we are doing all month long, and we're in week two. We're in week two. Finding your voice. Y'all. Tonight I have an amazing guest that is joining me. Her name is Miss Destiny McKoy. I'm going to bring her up shortly. But y'all just want to say how refreshing it is to just go through this challenge this week, understanding how we have to find our voice, understanding how Esther found her voice and the courage that she needed to find her voice, and just to step into another level of purpose. To understand your assignment and your assignment, which is going to require your voice. Now, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and share this live, subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend, share it with your mama, your cousin, your auntie, any other mama that knows that you know would need this tonight. And the midweek check-in is just simply so we can check in for the middle week to make sure everyone is not falling off. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Miss Destiny up on so she can join me on this live, and we got some. I feel like tonight is gonna be amazing. Every night is amazing, but I feel like tonight is gonna be super amazing because she's just an amazing spirit, an amazing person, and she's been participating in this challenge. And yeah, so just sit back, relax, give some time to share this live, give some time for people to come in as well. And let me go ahead and didn't want to do that. Let me go ahead and bring her up on the live screen. Okay, let me see. Adding her now. 1 second. All right, Destiny, I sent you the link, so you should be able to just click the link that I sent you and come right on. Right on. But yeah, tonight's going to be fired. If you read chapters 3 and 4 of Book of Esther. If you read chapters 3 and 4, drop it in the chat. Let me know. Drop it in the chat and let me know. Let me let her know to click the link. Click the link. Okay. Just drop it in the chat. Whether you're watching it now, whether you're watching it on the replay. Chapter 2 was very much eye-opening for me. And as I applied it to me in my life and just reflected on ways that I did not show up for myself when I should have, ways that I did not show up for my family, or just ways that I did show up. And here she is, let me add her on. Just ways that I did show up and had to show a certain level of courage. So it was just really, really insightful and helpful. Hi, Destiny.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well. I'm well. It's the midweek check-in, so I needed to check in. I need to check in with you, and I need to check in with everybody else who's participating in this challenge to make sure we're not falling off, and just to get into more of Esther's story and how she found her voice. And I was just sharing how you're joining me tonight, and you're such an amazing spirit, and I cannot wait for you to share how you stepped into your purpose and when you had to discover finding your voice. So we're gonna get right into it. First, before we get into the questions, I want to know your take on the challenge so far. We done went through positioning your purpose, and now we're in finding your voice. How are you feeling about Bold Like Esther challenge so far?
I am personally loving this challenge. I think that it is timely because a lot of us moms, Christians, entrepreneurs are trying to navigate what it is like to be using our voice. And I do believe that we're in a season where God is calling us to use it, and being able to relate to someone in the Bible. And, we're reading it all the time, but being able to apply it to like our day-to-day life, I think is really, really good. And plus, like, I'm in the community with you, so I've gotten an extra little blessings on the side.
Yeah, what she say? Say it again.
we in the community, using our voice and stuff.
For sure. Well, I'm so it's been just such a joy to have you. It's just been such a joy. So,
Oh.
yes. All right. So, chapter we left off chapter 3 and chapter 4 on Sunday. And that's when Esther really understood how and why she was positioned in the palace as the queen to find her voice. And it was really at the end of the day to save her people from the king's decree. Well, actually, it was Haman's
Hmm.
manipulation,
Right.
but had the king signed a decree to kill all the little Jewish people because he had a temper tantrum, like our
Hmm.
men do. Men do that.
Yeah.
They don't get their way, they want a temper tantrum. But yeah, it was really in a moment where she really had to understand what her assignment was. And the thing that I love about it the most is she fasted. She
Mhm.
fasted before she moved and she understood clearly what her assignment was. And that's when she had to use her voice. So the first question that I want, well, before the first question, just give a little bit of context and the background of who you are and what you do.
Okay, I am Destiny McKoy. I am a mom coach, so I help moms do this very thing, not using motherhood as an excuse anymore, but using our voice and stepping forward into what God is calling us to do. And I have a community that does that. I'm also a homeschooling mom, a wife, and the host of the Activate Your Destiny podcast.
Come on, listen, women do it all. We do it
We do
all.
it all,
Who
okay?
run the world? Drop in the chat. We do it all. If you are a mompreneur that do it all and you feel it, drop in the chat. All right.
Yeah.
So, Destiny, first question.
Okay.
When you think about finding your voice, can you share a moment in your life or your career where you realized silence was no longer an option for you?
Of course I can. I tell this story pretty often, but I distinctly remember a day of sitting in my living room and feeling burnt out, like
Mhm.
tired, exhausted, feeling invisible to everybody, not understanding why the more I showed up, the more empty I felt.
Yeah.
And at this point was feeling like I was hitting rock bottom. So I didn't know no better than to go to God. And I'm praying and I'm like, God, what am I here for? I feel like everything that I'm doing is not enough. And
Mhm.
I just don't really understand. Like if I can't be perfect at everything and if I can't, make sure that everything is working together perfectly,
Mhm.
then what exactly am I here for? And I realized in that moment as I'm talking to God that he reminds me that like I had stopped doing the things that he had given me to do. I had
Mhm.
begun to suppress who Destiny was because society tells us to pour, 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 and
Yeah.
everything for the kids. And I'm trying to learn how to manage a pandemic and homeschooling and all this stuff, and I had lost who I was. So in
Right.
this moment, I'm realizing that my voice was disappearing because I was allowing it to. And it felt
Mm.
like an erupting volcano inside of me that I didn't really understand at the time, but I understand it now that it was what he had put in me. I kept just pushing it down further and further and further and further.
Yeah.
And in this moment, it was like it couldn't stay there anymore. I
Right.
had to let it out. I had to acknowledge that he had made me to be more than, wife and mom and all these titles that I was holding. There
Yeah.
was more. There was more to the story. And at that moment, I could not ignore it any longer.
Yeah. You said something that was powerful. You said, I allowed it to
Mm-hmm.
happen. I allowed it to happen. So subconsciously, that was a
Yeah.
choice that a lot of us make. And we think that we shrink or we hide in the shadows because we think maybe that's our natural makeup or the things that we've been through or we're fear. But at the end of the day, we allow it.
Yeah.
You made the choice to. That was powerful. And I
Hmm.
hope if y'all understand what I mean by saying that. She made that choice to do that. As
Yeah.
easy as she made the choice to do that, she can make the choice to turn it around. So it doesn't always look like you got to wait for somebody to tell you. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I love the fact that you acknowledge, not just say, "Oh, I was hushed up, I was shut up." I allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a self reflection.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
even add to that that I nobody told me, that I had to be all these things to everybody. It was something that
Mm.
I had put on myself. I took it on myself. So that's why I'm able to say that like no, I allowed it
Yeah,
subconsciously. I obviously didn't do it on purpose,
for
but I think
sure.
a lot of us allow it. And even before I became a mother, I had, begun to learn how to suppress myself to make everybody else feel more comfortable.
Mm.
So I'm in rooms or I'm in elementary school, and if it's like, oh, I have long hair, so you don't like me, or I'm nice to everybody, so you don't like me. So I learned
Yeah.
early to kind of just like take a step back, and then you add motherhood and marriage and all this other stuff,
Ooh, come
and it's
on.
like I can't I can't figure out how to accept those two. So I'm just gonna pour into everybody else
Or
because where am I supposed to fit at? That's what it felt like.
right,
Where am
right.
I supposed to fit in all of this?
That's also a prime example of if you don't deal with the childhood trauma issues, because that's a part of a trauma, you know,
Hmm.
it will follow you into adulthood.
It
You know,
will.
it will follow you into adulthood. That's deep. That's deep. I like that. I like that. I like that. So, what fears have you personally had to overcome when stepping into visibility or speaking up with your calling? So
Mm.
I know, like the just understanding how, not understanding, but just realizing when you have to be so public and vocal, that could be a big fear in itself, and that can stop somebody from doing it. But
Yeah.
what was the fears that you were having? What were some of the biggest fears that you had, or some of the objection that you were having that would, personally stop you from overcoming it?
There was a lot. There was the fear of being misunderstood,
Okay.
which, if I'm being honest, is still something that I deal with because as you are constantly evolving and you're understanding the call in your life, there's different stages to it.
Okay.
So I could have understood it, or I could have gotten over it at a certain point a couple years ago when I'm like, okay, this I feel like I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur. So there's that, and then you get over not people not understanding it on that end. But then God starts opening doors, or you
Yes.
got to start making decisions as a leader, and it's like, oh, this feels uncomfortable.
Like, am I qualified? First of all, wait.
Yeah, am I qualified? And everybody's not going to understand this because they weren't given the
The
assignment. So now
vision,
I got to
right?
wrap my head around that and
Right.
still take steps forward. And in addition to that, the fear of not being perfect. Like if I'm in the spotlight, now you guys are going to see that I don't have it all together.
Yeah.
And that's a hard pill to swallow too, because especially in today's cancel culture, it's like you do
Oh,
the
girl.
smallest thing,
Girl,
and
you
now all
breathe
of a
wrong. They
sudden,
said, "Oh no, get rid of
right,
her.
right,
Give
now
it
all of a
like
sudden
yeah,
you the enemy of everybody, and it's like it doesn't take much. But at the end of the day, I had to realize that it's bigger than me.
yeah,
And I have to just be like, it is what it is. If you find some reason not to like what I'm doing or not like what I'm being called to do, that's a you problem and not necessarily something that I have to carry myself. And
mm,
I would also say the fear of not being enough. So we're constantly comparing ourselves to each other, to people on social media, or why haven't I gotten that prayer answered yet, or why haven't I reached this goal yet? But at the end of the day, we are on our path for a reason.
yeah,
So we shouldn't be able to compare. We just have to accept it like, okay, God, if this is the way that you're taking me, then it's for a reason. This is just a part
right.
of the story.
But some will say that, like, and even with us, like sometimes that's easier said than done,
Oh, yeah.
because and we know comparison is a thief of all joy anyway.
Hmm.
But like, what are some practices that you do to not compare yourself, or when you finding that you are comparing yourself,
Hmm.
like what are some practices like in real time that you would do? Because I know we all struggle with that, and somebody
Yeah.
else can probably take some advice or take can
Yeah.
try some things. So what are some things that you actively do to not compare yourself?
For one, is acknowledging it
Okay. Okay.
because I think that when we're just scrolling and not acknowledging that little feeling we got in our chest
A
when we
little
like
nudge.
that yeah. That is a signal that something is there. So I first have
Yeah.
to acknowledge it. Like, wait a minute, what was that? What am I what am I feeling at the moment? And learning to address that. And sometimes being okay with not having the answer at the moment. Maybe I need to talk to my therapist about it. Maybe I need to vent to a trusted friend about it. Or maybe I can get to a place where I can talk myself through it. Like now,
Mhm.
her house looks like that probably because she has assistants, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And if you want that, how are you going to get there instead of hating
Mm.
for it or feeling like, oh well, she this and she that? No, like maybe she worked hard for it,
Yes.
and that's okay. So if that's something that you want, instead of being envious of it or instead of feeling like I can't amount to that, make it.
You went muted. Hold on, I can't hear you. Can't hear you. Nope. 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 Let me see. That always happen. Can you hear me? You can't hear me? That always happen when someone calls. Let me see. No, 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 no. Try leaving out and coming back in. Because the devil ain't gonna stop nothing today. That's what we. Well, the devil is not gonna stop nothing today, not today, because she was about to say a word and I can feel it. So we're not about to do this. We ain't doing this. So in the meantime, we're gonna wait for Destiny to join us right back. But she said something very important where I feel like we missed the mark. She said, "I acknowledge it first." We get these feelings of here she go. We get these feelings of.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you
All
now. Let me turn
right.
you up. Hold on. I can hear you now.
Thank you, Aaliyah.
You
She said,
back,
in the
sis.
name
You
of
back.
Jesus.
Wait, why you so low? Hold on. Hold on. Now you sound low. Hold up. Let me see. Maybe that's me. Say something.
You hear me now?
Yeah, it's so low though.
Really? I didn't touch anything.
It always happens when people call. You got a call or a text or something.
It was an alarm that went off.
Oh, maybe I don't know. But I was saying that as long as y'all can hear us, we good. If y'all can hear us in the chat, say we good. Say we good if you can hear both of us. Let us know. But I was just saying when we was waiting for you to come back that you said something that I think is very important that you acknowledge that feeling. Because what'll happen is when we feel that envious feeling or that jealousy feeling, because that's what it is, we
Yeah.
feel like we're not good enough. When we start to feel that, the enemy will play on that and have your mind going all the way left. But the
Mhm.
fact that you're able to break it down and say, I know it takes work to get here. She put in the work. She
Yeah.
did this. What do I need to do? I think that is very important. And I think that's a very good exercise for us to actively do.
Yeah.
And yeah, share that on your page so we can share it to the world because I think that's important for us as women because we judge ourselves harder than anybody else. And it
Yes.
does get hard sometimes and we feel like we're forgotten when our blessings are not answered. But it's
Yeah.
important to appreciate where we are and then understand that they work for their blessings as well. So I think
Mhm.
that was a very good point that you made. Very
Yes.
good point that you made. And understanding the blessing and understanding what God has for you. How do you personally recognize when God is prompting you to speak or step forward, even when it feels uncomfortable?
Mm. I can't shake it. It's like an internal nagging, so to
Okay.
speak. So yeah, it's like something that just constantly repeats, or God will send it, in a dream, or He'll send confirmation through somebody else. It
Mm,
could be something as small as, I don't know, going to an event or doing something with the kids, or it
yeah.
can be something as major as starting a business and creating the community for moms that I have. It was all the same feeling, but
Okay.
the longer that I ignore it, the more intense it becomes.
Mm,
And the
okay.
more confirmation comes. So even back to the first question when you were asking me about that time where I felt like I couldn't hide it any longer, I believe I got to a point of hitting rock bottom because I had been ignoring it. Now I don't know when specifically because it's been so many years now, but I don't believe I would have felt that intense or that much like God, like what do you want from me if
Yeah.
I hadn't been ignoring it for way too long up until that point.
Yeah.
So that's really how God typically deals with me about stuff. It could be a thought. It could be, you hearing it from somebody else. And I think it's also important to make sure that you are spending time with God so that you can hear it. Because if we're
Mm,
too busy, too busy doing the wrong things, or too busy doing everything else, then it gets harder for Him to hear you.
yeah.
I mean, for you to hear
You to
Him.
hear him. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure. And you'll get confused about what you're hearing.
Hmm.
And I'll have to catch myself too when it's too much going on and I know I'm stressing and you get those notions and feelings and then I have
Yeah.
to question myself like, am I really supposed to be doing this? Is this really from God? Then you have to look at what you've been doing for the past couple days. Did you
Yeah.
pray today at all? Did you talk
Yeah.
to him? So yeah, that you gotta be very aware of how and how you're hearing him and if you're
Yeah.
really truly knowing it's from him.
I
Do you
would.
believe women need to feel ready? Because when you hear him, we're
Mhm.
not always ready.
Right.
Well, we think we're not ready. Um, but do you truly believe women need to feel ready or at least ready to receive what he had before stepping into their full voice or using their voice, or does readiness develop through obedience?
That's a very good question. I think you have to be open enough to hear him and open enough to trust that he will guide you along the rest of the steps.
Hmm.
You're not supposed to just have all the answers and all the confidence off the jump. No, no,
Yes.
I surely didn't. I surely don't.
I don't think none of us did.
I am still trying to figure out what is going on, but I know better than to not trust God. And I know
Mhm.
that if He has called me to do something, He's going to not only give me the capacity to do it, but the help to do it,
Yes.
the instructions to do it. All I have to do is trust Him and actually
There
listen.
we go.
So if I can just allow myself to do that and trusting him in just the small step, for me it was just the small step of, getting back into doing stuff that made me feel good so I could figure
Hmm.
out who the heck Destiny was in the first place.
Hmm.
That has all, years later led to this and wherever else it's going. But it had
Yeah.
to start with me admitting that what I was doing wasn't working anymore and being like, okay, whatever it is that you want from me, I'm willing to figure it out.
Have your way, Lord.
And yes, and trust that you're gonna help me with the rest of it.
Yes.
It's a daily trusting because there are some days where you're like, you know what, we got this, God, I'm with
Yes.
you. And then the very next day you could be like, what do you have me doing? And
For
that's okay.
sure. For sure. Um, Before I ask my next question, I do want to give the opportunity for the chat to ask a question. So I will get to some of the comments. If you have a question, go ahead and drop it in. So that way, by the time I wrap up with all my questions, I don't want to keep her to myself. I want to share Ms. Destiny. So if y'all have a question for her, just go ahead and drop it in the chat and we'll get to it.
Mhm.
But Destiny, from your perspective, what are some consequences women experience when they avoid using their voice or suppress their calling?
Hmm. Let's see. The ones that we talk about all the time: exhaustion, burnout,
Burnout, that's enough.
feeling isolated, resentment. I think that was a
Yeah.
big one that I didn't really recognize at first because now I am pouring so much into everybody and I'm feeling some type of way that you didn't recognize that I poured so much into you.
Hmm.
So then that builds up resentment. You don't know who you are. So now you're just out here surviving
Yeah.
and just trying to make it day to day. And feeling empty.
Yeah.
Definitely feeling empty. And I would even add not doing what God is asking you to do. I mean, all of these other feelings aside, delayed obedience is the same thing as disobedience.
Yep.
So even if you know that you're supposed to be doing something, even if you don't have all the steps, and if you haven't taken that first step yet, it's still disobedience. And I
Hmm.
say all the time in my community, like the one thing I don't want on those days where I don't feel like pushing through or it's getting hard, I have to remind myself that what I don't want is to get to the gates. And God is like,
I
you
am not
actually could have
pleased.
made it here.
Right.
I had this for you, but
Yes.
instead, you stayed here because you were
Yes.
too scared, or you were in your head, or you let everybody else uh, say to you whatever they wanted to say. You were supposed to be over here. So
Hmm.
don't blame me for the prayers that weren't answered
Right.
because you didn't do
Because you
your
had the
part.
choice. You chose. And just to add on to that, because I'm such a believer of, the divine order.
Hmm.
Whether it's good or whether it's evil, I believe that we're all divinely connected in some kind of way. And
Hmm.
if I don't follow through with my assignment, if I am too scared to walk, I'm messing up the order for someone
Yes.
else as well. So
Yes.
they may not receive their blessing that it was intended, like they were intended for, and now they have to make another choice, right?
Hmm.
They have to make another decision where the outcome was totally different, which may delay their blessing, their success,
Yes.
and their prosperity. So I also look at it as that, like
Yeah.
my life literally counts on, or other people's life literally counts on the move that I make. You know,
Mhm.
you could be saving the next president that's supposed to save it. You could be
Mm,
saving the next Harriet Tubman that's going to
mm.
save our culture from this crazy world right now.
Yeah.
All by creating your community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just by being that obedience, being that obedient to start something. So I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, not only that, I think about our kids too. Like I think
Yeah.
about the fact that my son too, but my daughters are watching my every
She's
move.
at my son too, but we forget.
But it's different with them, and they're watching everything.
Yeah.
And one thing that I had to realize is I cannot tell them, "Oh, you can do anything that you want to do," or "You can be
Mm.
anything that you want to be," and push them. But yet, I'm not
And you
doing what
ain't
I'm
doing
supposed to be doing. I
that. Mhm.
can't teach them to obey God.
Right.
Obedience is better than sacrifice, but then they're watching me just sit here and let all of my fears and insecurities get in the way.
Right.
So not only is it about other people, it's the very people that we're raising too.
Yep, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. I can't just tell you what to do. I need to be the example.
Yes.
Because guess what? One thing I know about these girls, they're gonna call you when you bluff.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna call you when you bluff. They get older, they're like, you tell me to do this and you don't even do that. They're gonna
Mhm.
call you when you bluff. So absolutely. Now, when it comes to speaking, it
Mhm.
often requires setting boundaries.
Mhm.
Now, how has learning to set boundaries strengthened your voice and your leadership?
I am still learning to set boundaries.
Really?
I am still learning, but because I have started to establish boundaries, I have
Mhm.
stopped performing for everybody else.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I have had to become comfortable with the assignment, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So if there's something else that comes up, or other questions, or other requests for me to be somewhere or do something, or because someone doesn't understand,
Mhm.
the assignment is the assignment.
It is what it
I've
is.
also had to learn to stop over explaining, which that I'm still learning.
That part.
No, no
That part.
is a complete sentence, and not even over explaining because I want you to feel like you're a part of it, or I don't want you to look at me on any kind of way, or I don't want you to feel like I'm too good, or all of these things that we tell ourselves when
Mhm.
really we're over explaining for nothing.
Mhm.
Because you can over explain what they desire at the moment.
For sure. For
So
sure.
you're just kind of like wasting breath and emotions that are fleeting anyway.
For sure. And I find some women over explain because they're still not yet comfortable in who they are.
Yeah.
It's a cover up. I mean, well, it's a crutch because we
Mhm.
feel like me saying even when it comes to down to like pricing in your business, right? When you want to
Mhm.
go high ticket, when you say a price, okay, I charge X, Y, and Z, or this will be this investment. If you're looking at a four-figure investment or a five-figure investment,
Yeah.
they're not comfortable in saying it because they don't understand who they are at that level they need to
Yeah.
be. So then we're going to explain, well, you get this and that, I can do this for you. And then we start to really disqualify ourselves,
Yeah.
because people can feel that tension. So yeah, setting boundaries and understanding who you are and knowing who you are and the assignment, this is what it
Mhm.
is a level of confidence.
Yeah.
Certain
I
level of
think
confidence.
it's an extra level of confidence too, knowing that we're doing this because God has instructed us to do
For
it.
sure.
So I've had to understand that it's not me, doing the talking or the coaching or whatever.
Mhm.
And it's not just all these pieces of paper on the wall. It's like also what God is giving me to say, so I
Mhm.
can discount what He's trying to say. So let me get myself together and me and my little insecurities, and realize that He's put me here for a reason. So
For
again, that's
sure.
the assignment is the assignment.
For sure. And let's not skip over the little papers on the wall because they made it too. You got quite a few back there, baby. So we're just gonna get your flowers real quick.
Thank you.
She said it ain't just these little papers on the wall, but we're gonna stop and give it to you right now because sis is qualified. Look at this. Look
Thank you.
at this. I love it. So if a mompreneur is watching and knows she needs to speak, lead, or show up differently, what is
Mhm.
one practical step she can take this week to start building courage?
Hmm. One practical step. I would say to write down your dream. What is it that you actually want to do? And I say write it down and I just think about it
Hmm.
because there's something about you actually writing it down and reading the papers, reading what you're writing on the paper, and speaking it out loud. It kind of brings it to life. It's
Yeah.
not just thought. We think a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff that's not true.
Hmm.
But yeah, write the vision and make it plain. Like, what is it
Come
that you
on.
really do want to do? That brings it to reality. That's it's no longer just in your head. And I say start there because then you can pray about it. Okay, God, if this is your will, show me, what parts may be keeping me from making a step. What
Hmm.
is it, my time or lack thereof? Is it my circle? Is it my own confidence? Then you can take a lot of steps just from writing it down. What is
Absolutely.
want to become. We do it in like elementary school when everybody's asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then we grow up and nobody wants to acknowledge what you actually want to do anymore. We
Hmm.
settle for, what's going to pay us and all these other things, what's going to give us the right amount of time. But like, what if God has something specific for you that He's already put within you that you're
For
not
sure.
acknowledging because
Yeah.
of other things?
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, when you were asked that question when you were younger, what was your answer? What do you want to be when you grow up?
I had a lot of answers, and I don't think anybody has asked me that. I have I wanted to be a singer.
Okay.
Sister Act 2 is my all-time favorite movie, so I wanted to be Rita Louise Watson, okay?
What is it? They do this? What's this? This a move right here?
I just knew, Rita was the stuff. I
Yes.
so, my mom said I wrote down one day I wanted to be a teacher, which I don't know where that came from, but hey, I'm a homeschool mom, so close
Listen,
enough.
I'm about to say homeschool mom. Listen, he ain't say how, but I just want to see how close
Yeah,
it was to what you were saying when you were younger, you know?
yeah. Those are the 2 that I can think of. In school, um, I wanted to be a forensic psychologist.
Okay.
So my degree is actually in criminal justice because I thought that I was going to follow that path, and then I thought
Mhm.
take a little U-turn and do paralegal, and then got
Okay.
mm-mm.
Well, in hindsight, right?
Yeah,
Even though you're not in that industry, I'm sure the practices and skills and education you had getting that degree applies to what you're doing now, even down to working with people, the different
yeah,
personalities, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's always interesting to talk about when we were kids because we can imagine things and kids are very
yeah.
creative. They believe they can fly, and we think that way, but we kind of lose sight of that when we get older.
Mhm.
Um, but I say like I wanted to be a superstar, a movie
I could,
star. I wanted to talk for a living, have my own talk show. I wanted to be Oprah at one point. And I say that to say when you look at my life now, it's like it's not too far off. I ain't got Oprah money, but it's like it's in that lane.
yeah,
But it just reminds us that like the assignments were there, the visions
yeah,
were there. So however you convey it when you're younger
mm,
is going to show up some way, shape, or form
yes,
in some kind of way. But we just don't get to pick and choose how. But you see it more when you're younger. You're
yeah.
more courageous when you're younger because girl, if you can't sing and you out there singing, my baby wanted to do talent shows, and I just like, okay, I support you, boo. Let's go. But it may show up a different way
Mm.
later. We can see some of the signs early on. I love it.
That's
I
also
love
why
it.
it's so important. It's twofold. It's important for us to acknowledge what was already there. Those
Yeah.
skills, those talents that are there, they're there for a reason. If
Hmm.
you are like good with people, it could be because you're supposed to deal with people and not hide
Yeah.
in the house all the time.
Yeah.
If you are like really good with tech or something, there's probably a reason for that. So
Yeah.
even
Yep.
digging in and being like, okay, what have I suppressed in all of these roles, but motherhood and my job and all this other stuff, what have I put aside because I felt like I didn't have no time when really
Hmm.
you're just not making the time to cultivate
To
the gifts that are already there. And then you got kids that are watching you. And like if you I can look at mine because they're homeschooled, I'm with them all day long.
Bless your heart.
But
Bless your heart.
but even in that, my prayer is like, "Oh God, you've told me to homeschool them, so
Yeah.
obviously for a reason. But what's within them that you are showing me so that
Mhm.
I start to cultivate it now. If one is
Yes.
like a people person, okay, God, how do I push that?
How
If
do
they're
you
a
how
leader,
is this
how do
important?
I
Yes.
yeah, how do I help
Mhm.
them with that? Because they're here for a reason. So it would
Yeah.
be foolish of me to act like I don't see it when I have
Yeah.
more time to actually cultivate what it is that I already see and we
Oh,
don't know
yes.
what it's gonna turn into. So not only are they watching me be the example, I'm able to then be like, okay, now what you got going on, right?
Mhm. Mhm. I love mompreneurs, and I'm such an advocate for mompreneurs
Hmm.
because an entrepreneur overall are the visionaries. They're the ones that create. And once you understand how important it is to pour into that vision so early on, the success rate is even more greater. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like if you look at like I take for instance the twins. Not are they twins? No, they're sisters. The tennis sisters, Venus and Serena.
Venus. Yep.
Their father kept them when he saw that talent. He knew to keep them focused on this,
Yeah,
develop this, you know? And it's unfortunate that every parent don't see that because we come from like our parents were laborers.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They had the plan to become nurses and use your hands and work, which is nothing wrong with it,
yeah,
but if you can develop that skill early on and you know the possibilities of how you can really step into your purpose and not just help other people, but create a life that you're comfortable with, that you truly see for yourself while building and creating impact, like it's amazing. Who
yeah,
wants to struggle? Who wants to live a life? I mean, you have to struggle, you have to learn.
yeah.
We all have ups and downs, but I just love mompreneurs because we get it because
Hmm.
we're dream chasers, we're goal chasers, and we want to find, we want to succeed in our businesses, and we want our children to. So I commend all mompreneurs, and I love that for us.
I do.
What would you say to the woman that's watching tonight who feels called but is still afraid to use her voice? What would you say to her?
The woman who is called and still afraid to use her voice, I would say start small.
Mm,
I would say a couple of things, but I would start with starting small. It takes me back to a couple of years ago. I like hinted at it in my story a couple hours ago, but I was in this room at the time. I was, doing makeup and stuff. And obviously, if you have a business, you have to be on social media. So I
yeah.
knew I have to start going live. I gotta show up. I can't just keep being in my little introverted bubble. And I was, I kept feeling, this inkling like I need to go live today, and I'm like nauseous, like terrified.
Really?
Yes, because this is just, out of nowhere who I became over the years of hiding
Yeah.
myself, right? Because if you ask my parents, I wasn't like this as a child. If you ask my brother who's in the comments right now, I wasn't like this as a child.
Okay.
But at some point, it was like, I don't know, I started getting scared to talk in front of people. And I remember having that inkling like I need to go live, but I'm terrified. I feel like I gotta throw up. I'm like shaking.
Mhm.
And it was in that moment that I was like, God, if I'm actually supposed to continue on this path, you're gonna have to help me overcome this because clearly I wasn't created like this. So whatever I'm gonna have to do, I'm gonna have to do it. And I brought that up because I still did the live that day, shaking, nauseous, terrified. But afterwards, I was like, okay, I survived.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
I'm
Great.
here.
Okay.
I made it.
I made it. I'm still breathing. Okay, so I started doing it more. And small for you could be you're at the library with your kids and you see another mom. Say hi instead of acting like you
Yes.
don't see her
Yeah.
because you don't want to be sociable.
Yes.
Saying hi in the store, posting that, whatever it is that you're supposed to post. Talk to that person and starting there. Talk to your family. Like whatever's gonna make you feel comfortable in enough to start building it up,
Yes.
um, that's where I would say start. So because now it's like, yeah, this still made me nervous.
Yes. Yes.
Was it 4 years later now? But this isn't the only opportunity that has come out of me just starting small.
For
So
sure.
I really think that just starting and trusting that God is going to help you through the nerves, through he's gonna be able to give you what to say too. Like once I realized I don't have to have all the answers and all the perfect answers and
Mhm.
written out and all the notes and stuff, and just trusting him, then I was like, I can breathe a little bit easier.
Yeah.
All I know is that like before we get on, I'm be like, God, you have your way. You say what you want to say. I don't know nothing. And it's like, okay, because I know I don't know anything, but I know that God is with me,
Mhm.
I can breathe a little bit better. So that could be as small or as big as you want it to be.
For sure. For sure.
Thanks, Mom.
Let go of that big vision, the outcome that you have in your mind.
Yeah.
Start small and let go of that.
Yes.
Because we compare, that word compare that you used earlier, we compare our first year to somebody else's 12th year.
Mhm.
And we want the big turnout. We want this. And that's where the pressure come of going live. Go live.
Yeah.
Go live. Start small. Take that one step. I love that.
Yes.
Adrian McGuire said, I'm proud of you, Des.
Thank you, Mom.
I love the support. If y'all have a question for Destiny before we wrap up, go ahead and drop it in the chat. If y'all are not a part of the Bold Like Esther challenge, make sure you tap in with us. We are on day 11 right now. Tomorrow is day 12. This week theme is finding your voice, and we have been finding our voice, and we have been doing the daily bold moves every day, just to help us further find our voice and be more comfortable with speaking out
Yeah.
loud, more comfortable with saying no, more comfortable with asking for help. That was today's boldly mood. I said mood move. Ask for help when we know we need help. You know,
Yes.
it takes a confident and courageous person and bold person to ask for help, because most of us don't want to show that vulnerability or
Yeah.
show that we need help. But just know that everybody needs help. And if you need help right here, drop in the comments, say, I need help, ask the questions, and we'll do our best to try to help you.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you were able to join us on this midweek check-in tonight, Destiny, because we
Thank you.
definitely need to make sure everybody is still tapped in with us.
Mhm.
And if you haven't done so already, please like this, share this, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Destiny's channel, and
Yeah.
just stay locked in. You can't be intentional. You can't walk into your assignment alone. And it's
Yeah.
always good to surround yourself with the like-minded women and get into the circles that you need to get into, because
Yes.
you were not created to do this alone. You cannot fight this warfare alone, and you
Mhm.
have the support that you need. You just have to be willing to take that first step and
Mhm.
get into those circles.
Yes.
Um, Before we wrap up, I do want to remind you that we have our week 3 live stream that's starting on Sunday, where we're moving into the next theme. You can still join the challenge, not at the mastery level, but you can still get notifications by the day. Click the link in the description. I'll put the link in the description so you can get on our mailing list, and then you
Mhm.
can be prepared for the next challenge. We have some amazing things coming to the huddle. Destiny, I'll let you share some things that you have upcoming. I know you have an event coming up,
I
right?
do.
Tell us a little bit about your event.
I have an event coming up for moms here in Baltimore County, Maryland. It is called Mom School Live, Reclaim Your Identity. And this is a safe space that was created because I know what it is like to be going through this transition where God is calling you to do more
Yes.
or to be more, and you don't have the words for it. You don't really understand all of what's going on. And the last thing that you think you need might be support,
Mhm.
but you need it. I know I needed it. And so I created this space because moms, for one, need to get out of the house without the kids.
Sure.
And
We need to be outside.
we
Mhm.
need to be outside. And we also need to come together, share, what it is that we're going through and understand that we're not in this alone. Like Jesus didn't
Yes.
walk his journey alone. So why
Absolutely.
do we expect ourselves to be alone in that? So I'm excited about that. That is on March the 7th. And we are having an early bird special that ends on Friday. So if you are in Maryland and you want to come, you might
Come
not
on.
wait to the last minute. Okay.
Come
Uh,
on. Send me the link so I can put the link in the description as
okay.
well. We're gonna share this live out. Y'all make sure y'all get your tickets. The
Yes.
early bird special is ending when?
It is ending on Friday at 11:59
Get
p.m.
y'all tickets.
automatically. So don't
Get
text
y'all
me.
tickets. Baltimore. I don't know if she's gonna have crabs in the building, but Baltimore, get there, okay? Get there, because this is gonna be more valuable than crabs. She's an amazing person. And listen, you don't know what you need to know until you hear the things that you need to know. And
Yeah.
I am a firm believer of God is not going to place you in a space where you're not meant to be. So
Come
if
on.
you know this is something that you've been struggling with and you're local in Maryland, definitely tap in. We're going to drop the link into the description as well.
Yes, yes, yes. And if you're not in Maryland, I do have my mom community, which is called Mom School. Amazing community where we're doing the exact same thing and activating our destinies
Yes.
and activating everything that God is calling us to do with ongoing support. So I'm excited about that too.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm excited for you. I'm
Thank you.
excited for you. And I wish I was in Baltimore because you know I would definitely be
I
there.
wish
But
you were.
listen, give me your calendar, whatever you got coming up. Let me know ahead of time. And Tammy will, because you know I'm from Philly. You
Yes.
know I'm from Philly, so that ain't too far from home. And I need a reason to come up and get some crabs, okay? Some blue crabs, not the crab boils that they got down
No.
here. Some blue crabs.
Yes. I'm with it. I love that.
Yes, yes. But Destiny, thank you so much for sharing your perspective.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for joining us. And again, if you have any questions or want to tap in with Destiny, make sure you hit her up. Make
Yes.
sure you check out her community. Get your tickets. Make sure you're subscribed. Like this. If you haven't gotten your copy of Purpose Got Me Paid, you can
Yes.
get that at the link as well. But we're gonna head on out on this good Wednesday. Crowns on, chin up, and you rock the rest of your week, mompreneurs. Stay bold and that's it. Thank you, Destiny.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.